Good morning, everyone. So this week we're talking about our values and how they relate to us in our profession. When looking through the core values questionnaire, my two values that were chosen were the family and happiness values, which I think relates to me very, very well. If everyone could be happy all the time, that would be the best thing ever for me. I never want to hurt anyone's feelings. I never want to offend anyone. That's just not me. So I think that reflects in my practice very, very well. And I think probably all my coworkers would agree. I am very much so a people pleaser. So in Jahai's story, this was a very, very hard story for me. I just feel for that family and that mother losing a child, and then being kind of stuck in between where you know that she is not brain dead, but they want to say that she's brain dead. I cannot imagine being in that situation. I feel very much so for her. And I think that would be very, very hard for me as a nurse. And I think this is where my values come into play and about how we're talking about the difficulties that we may see in our scopes and all of the standards and competencies. I think this would be my difficult situation. You still have to do what is best for the patient, though, unfortunately. And this is one of those things where I think an ethics committee would have to be involved because the team's saying she's brain dead, and ethically, as a healthcare professional, we have to do the right thing for the patient, even if the family's fighting it. But in this situation, it seems like it almost just turned out okay because the mother is able to care for her, and it seems like maybe there is some stuff going on in there. Overall, just a very, very hard situation, and I think I would definitely be feeling for the mother, and if I was a nurse in that case, I would just want to hug her and just be there for her, because I cannot imagine. So in my AONE nurse executive competencies, two things that I found that would be challenging for me would be in the ANOE, the relationship management. I think giving bad news in a credible way. I've always struggled with this. Any sort of bad news, like I said, I am very much so a people pleaser, and this is my downfall. I hate giving bad news, and if I can avoid it at any cost, I will. I will call the physician. I will do whatever I can. Unfortunately, that's not realistic, though, and this is something I've had to come to terms with, and not everyone can be happy all the time, and it's not always great stories, especially I work in surgical trauma, so, it's not always great stories. I just try to be there for the patient, though, but this is something I definitely struggle with. I think another thing, in the ANOE nurse executive competencies that I would struggle with, under the professional category, there's a category called, it's holding self and others accountable for other actions. This would be definitely something I struggle with as a nurse manager if I am ever in that situation. I would have a hard time with the disciplinary actions because, like I said, people pleaser. So it would definitely be something I'd have to come to terms with, and it would be a struggle. Definitely a struggle. In the ANA scope and standards, I found two provisions that I thought I might also struggle with because of my two values that I value the most: happiness and family. Provision 8, the nurse collaborates with other healthcare professionals in the public to protect human rights. And I think I kind of related this to the Jahai story because as a basic human right, we have to make sure that our patients are cared for in the best way. And I do struggle with what the family wants and everything. I just would like everyone to have a great story and, or not a great story, but like a happy story. So this would be protecting the human rights, but at the same time, I would struggle with not doing everything I possibly can for the mom. And I also think I would struggle with provision 2. This also relates to the Jahai story. I think the story just really got to me. The RN primary commitment is to the patient, and absolutely, like I said, we have to make sure that ethically we're doing the right thing, but at the same time, we have that family aspect, and I do want to please the family as well, but you can't always please the family. You know, you just have to do whatever is right for the patient, even if that means that you have to put the family on the side burner. And that definitely would be a hard thing for me. I chose, for my article, I chose an article about diversity in the nursing leader community, and it's called Ensuring Diversity Among the Community Nursing Leaders by Laura Sarant. It was written in 2014, and I will cite this. And it talks about how important it is that our nursing leaders are diverse because, you know, in the community today, we are facing these issues about racism and everything, and that's just unfair. You cannot judge anyone on their skills by the way they look or their gender or anything else like that. And I just cannot imagine being in the situation that this lady is in this article. It talks about being a young black nursing student in 1980s, and it's just so sad. I cannot imagine being discriminated against in this way, and it's just so sad to me. I just can't imagine. But it is important that we have diverse leaders that reflect our communities and are confident and competent in these standards. And it's also important that all of our leaders reflect these standards that we're speaking about, because the Code of Ethics and the ANOE, the AONE competencies, these are all wonderful things that every leader should reflect. That's not, you know, in a perfect world, but these are things that a nurse leader should reflect so all of our nurses can practice and not be worried about being discriminated against or anything else. They should just be able to practice and not worry and know that their leader has their back. And I think that is important because sometimes we do get caught up in other things. And, you know, if we can just have all of our nursing leaders reflect these competencies, it'll be a good place. Sorry if I rambled a little bit. Thank you for watching, and hopefully we have a good week.